you there is some moving and shaking going on in the Indiana Fever organization, because they have definitely let go of a player. Now, I know y'all thinking, what does this mean? This means Caitlin Clark return is sooner rather than later. Could that be why we did not see Caitlin come back? I mean, we did not see Caitlin travel with the team this past week. I don't know.
The Indiana Fever just made a move that has the entire basketball world buzzing. Kira Lambert, originally expected to be Caitlin Clark's temporary stand-in, was cut from the roster faster than a fake sneaker at a Nike warehouse. Now, Fever fans everywhere are connecting the dots and speculating that this could signal Caitlin Clark's long-awaited comeback.
Guys, today the Indiana Fever have officially released Kira Lambert, a guard from overseas who Stephanie White signed on a trust me bro recommendation. Somebody who Stephanie White didn't even know existed up until about 8 days ago. Unfortunately for Kira Lambert, her time on the Indiana Fever has come, and her time on the Indiana Fever has gone. Best of luck to you and your future endeavors. This
isn't just another routine roster move. It feels more like a strategic chess match, with the Indiana Fever playing 4D chess while everyone else is still stuck on checkers. Cutting someone's replacement before their 7-day contract even expires isn't about performance, it's about making space. And in Indiana, there's only one player worth clearing the deck for.
Move curious. Lambert was on a 7-day deal, so the Fever could just be looking at this break knowing that her contract was going to expire anyway and not wanting to waste her time. But under the hardship rules, as that it has been, put out there and publicized, the Fever only had to release one of the two players between Odyssey Sims and Kira Lambert once Caitlin Clark was back. But one of them was going to have to go.
If you're enjoying this, don't forget to subscribe. Just last week, the Indiana Fever were so desperate for a point guard that it felt like they put out a casting call for anyone who could dribble without passing to the wrong team. Kira Lambert stepped in fresh from a strong run in the Greek A1 League, bringing overseas experience and saying all the right things about faith, blessings, and seizing the moment. She spoke like someone who had been preparing for this opportunity her entire life, emphasizing her trust in God and her commitment to staying faithful throughout her journey.
It's a blessing, having the journey that I've had, and just, remaining faithful, trusting God, and doing the work, and just to see it all come back around and have this opportunity is all.
What's this opportunity they've dealt with, given all that you've worked to get to this point?
Yeah. I mean, it means everything, to, again, just remain faithful and trust the process. It's the resiliency, it speaks to faith, and I'm really excited to be here.
What's your familiarity with the team, with how they want to run things?
Yeah, I've been watching the W for years. It's the best basketball in the world, so, I've been watching.
But here's where it gets interesting. Lambert wasn't just signed to fill a roster spot, she was brought in because the Fever were bleeding point guards faster than a leaky faucet loses water. Caitlin Clark was still nursing a stubborn groin injury, Ari McDonald was sidelined with a season-ending broken foot, and Sydney Colson was out with a torn ACL. At that point, the team was practically one step away from asking someone's cousin from the local rec league to run point.
Odyssey Sims has played herself into more of a role for the Fever. She got a bunch of minutes in the game on Sunday, 42 minutes for Sims. Lambert didn't play, right? So you can see relative one to the other, where the Fever were looking at things from the pecking order standpoint. Now there's also the Sophie Cunningham injury, but to be honest, I'm not sure how that would impact things unless they felt they needed somebody at that position rather than more depth at the point guard position.
So, the Fever handed Lambert a 7-day contract, basically the WNBA's version of a trial run at your dream job, but her shot lasted about as long as a TikTok clip. She logged less than a minute of action against the Connecticut Sun on August 17th, and by Monday, she was gone. Not because she played poorly or crumbled under pressure, but because someone bigger might be on the way back. Someone who sells out 15,000-seat arenas and makes ESPN analysts lose their minds.
We just saw the most pointless contract of all time. The most pointless 7-day of all time. Kira Lambert. They didn't even give Kira Lambert a page on the WNBA website. I'm not joking. If you type in WNBA.com and you look at Fever's last game, maybe they updated it because she actually saw the floor. Fever versus Connecticut. Kira Lambert played a grand total of 4 seconds. She played 4 seconds. It would have been better off just to not play her. Oh wait, it was a round of 5. They didn't even give her a WNBA page. They did not even give her a WNBA.
Now Fever fans are playing detective, connecting the dots like they're cracking a murder mystery. As Indy Star beat reporter Chloe Peterson noted weeks ago, when the Fever signed veteran guard Odyssey Sims, they still had roster flexibility. If they had just stuck with Sims, no cuts would have been necessary once Caitlin Clark returned. But by adding Lambert into the mix, the math became simple. Someone had to go when the Queen came back to her throne. And the first to get the pink slip wasn't Sims, the 33-year-old veteran with 304 career games, but Lambert, the very player who was supposed to bridge the gap until Clark returned, the one who spoke passionately about dreams, opportunities, and trusting the process.
Silver fans, I don't know, we might have some good news. Well, we might have some great news. See, my precious people might be returning. Might be. You hear me? They just released Kira Lambert. You hear me? She had 3 ACL. So she wasn't good for nothing anyway. She's fragile. How you have that many ACL tears, bro? Thank you for providing us 7 days of your presence. You hear me? We needed you to fill in. You hear me? The greatest of all time.
But let's talk about timing, because it's impossible to ignore. ESPN recently updated Caitlin Clark's injury report, shifting her projected return date from August 12th, which has already passed, to August 26th, when the Fever host the Seattle Storm. Conveniently, the Fever have a full week-long break after their Sunday game against Connecticut, giving Clark plenty of time to ease back into practice. ESPN's broadcast crew even mentioned that this is exactly when coach Stephanie White hopes Clark will rejoin practices, with the understanding that she'll need several sessions before playing in a game. And what's waiting right after that break? Back-to-back matchups with Minnesota, followed by that highly anticipated August 26th home clash with Seattle, the very game ESPN is circling as Clark's potential return.
We did know that once Caitlin Clark was back, one of the 2 hardship signings was going to have to go. So that's naturally where people's heads were thinking when it was reported on the ESPN broadcast that Clark, the hope was she would return to practice this week, with target dates the 22nd, 24th, 26th, those games being thrown out as potential return dates. Now, I don't have any other updates on that. I mean, I took Stephanie White's comments as they hope still she returns at the regular season a little less
So
confident.
let's break it down. Lambert gets waived just as the Fever enter their break week. Clark's projected return lines up perfectly with the end of that break, and the team keeps veteran Sims while cutting the overseas newcomer. If this isn't orchestrated, then coincidences must be throwing a party in Indiana. Fan reaction has been volcanic. Social media is flooded with Caitlin Clark celebration gifs, countdown timers, and speculation intense enough to make conspiracy theorists proud. The Fever, sitting at 18-15, are clinging to a playoff spot, just 2.5 games ahead of 9th place but only 3 games behind the New York Liberty and 3.5 out of the 2nd seed. With Clark's return, those lofty goals suddenly don't feel so far-fetched. And yet, it's hard not to feel for Kira Lambert. After 4 years overseas and a standout run in the Greek A1 League, she finally got her shot at WNBA glory. She spoke about how much the opportunity meant to her, about faith and trusting the process, and the Fever welcomed her warmly. She seemed genuinely excited to contribute to a team she had been following and studying for years, only for her dream to be cut short before it even began.
Can the Fever please invest in international scouts? They definitely need to invest in international scouts. Because I know your boy John Liquidator ain't the best advocate when it comes to overseas players, but something I would say, they play hard, bro. Those overseas players play like they got something to prove. I give them that. But far as me, I feel like we got enough talent here at home in our home country to get players. Somebody said every day I question if Amber Cox and Stephanie White are even on the same page.
But in the cruel world of professional sports, understanding the system and fitting in perfectly doesn't matter if someone better is coming back. Lambert wasn't cut because she wasn't good enough. She was cut because she was never meant to be permanent. She was a placeholder, a bridge, a temporary fix, while the real solution recovered from injury. Let's be brutally honest about what Caitlin Clark's return would mean for this Indiana Fever team. This isn't just about getting back their leading scorer or their primary playmaker, though. She was averaging 16. 5 points, 8 assists, and 0 rebounds before her injury. This is about getting back the gravitational force that makes everything else work. Coach Stephanie White has been talking about how the team will be even more dangerous when Clark returns. And she's not just blowing smoke. This Fever squad has learned to play without their superstar, developing chemistry and toughness that they didn't have last season. Players like Kelsey Mitchell, Aaliyah Boston, and Natasha Howard have stepped up in Clark's absence, showing they can contribute at a high level. When Clark comes back, she won't be carrying the entire load. She'll be the final piece that makes an already improved team truly dangerous.
Throughout her second season of WNBA, Caitlin Clark has posted 16.5 points, 5 rebounds, and 8.8 assists per game for the Indiana Fever. Clark started the season on a tear under Stephanie White, but has since struggled to stay on the court, playing her second season as a professional. The Fever have 9 remaining games of their regular season schedule. They have a long break before their next matchup on Friday. The venue will be open, giving Clark a chance to rehab as the Fever take several days off from game.
Here's where things get really intriguing. The Fever currently sit in 6th place, good enough for the playoffs, but without home court advantage. With 11 games left and Clark's return looming, though, those bigger ambitions don't seem so unrealistic. One analyst broke it down perfectly. Clark has missed 20 games this season, during which the Fever went 10-10. But if she'd been healthy and they'd gone, say, 15-5 in that span, their record would sit at 23-10, suddenly pushing them into contention for a much higher seed. Even as things stand, they're only 3 games back of New York and 3.5 out of the second seed. In a league where momentum swings fast and hot streaks can change everything, Clark's return down the stretch could be the exact spark that propels Indiana into true playoff contention. The dream scenario fans are whispering about. Clark comes back healthy, the Fever catch fire, and they not only lock in a playoff berth but potentially host a playoff series. For a franchise that hasn't reached the postseason since 2016, that would be nothing short of miraculous.
We have a chance. But the only thing I'm concerned about is she 100% healthy? You hear me? And I need to know what's going on with Sophie. Because that's her enforcer. But everybody else on the team be acting like they scared and tougher than Charmin Fish. You hear me? Y'all better protect my precious CC by any means necessary. Playoff. Right there in the view. You hear me? Here we come. The referees need to get it in gear.
Fever's recent roster moves, it all starts to click. First, they signed Odyssey Sims, a veteran guard with playoff experience and proven leadership. Then they brought in Lambert for extra depth, structuring the contracts to maximize flexibility. By keeping Sims and releasing Lambert, the Fever preserved veteran stability while clearing the path for Clark's return. Sims can continue to provide reliable minutes and leadership now, and seamlessly shift into a smaller role once the franchise star is back. It's the kind of calculated strategy that shows the front office wasn't scrambling, they were planning. This wasn't panic management, it was smart roster construction designed to keep the team afloat while setting the stage for Clark's comeback. And if the timing plays out the way fans are hoping, it could end up looking like a masterclass in team management.
That they are being extraordinarily deliberate with every step in this process when it comes to Caitlin Clark. But like I said on Sunday, that's the kind of win, if I'm CC, that I watch and say, I got to get back out there. Like, nothing can stop me from rejoining this team. this season. That fight.
But here's what most people are overlooking while the spotlight shines on Clark's return. This whole stretch has revealed just how much depth and character the Fever have built. They've won key games without their star, battled playoff-caliber opponents despite multiple injuries, and proven that players like Natasha Howard can be legitimate offensive weapons. The supporting cast has shown itself to be far stronger than anyone gave them credit for. So when Clark comes back, she won't be rejoining the same team that stumbled early in the season. She'll be stepping into a group that's learned how to win ugly, grind out tough games, and embrace true team basketball. That's the kind of foundation playoff runs are built on. And the ripple effect? The rest of the league has taken notice. Teams that once dismissed the Fever as a one-player show now have to prepare for a far more complete squad. A battle-tested supporting cast paired with the return of a superstar could make Indiana dangerous in ways no one expected.